Based on only statistics, do you want to know what teams can win the national championship and make the playoffs? Well, that is what the CFP index is for. To make the playoff statistics, you have to have an offensive points per game rank of 35 and a defensive points per game rank of 60. And these teams are the teams that make it. Now, these teams are your national championship teams. These teams need to have a top 15 in offensive points per game rank and a top 30 in defensive points per game rank. So if you're a little confused, let me play out some scenarios so you understand better. First of all, I didn't want to leave any team out, but the teams below this probably won't even make the playoffs, so you can just scratch them. So then we got about 4 teams in play here. So with 1 week left in the season, one of these 4 teams will win it. Now, I'm not saying all 4 of these teams will make the playoffs because you have these 5 teams up here that have the playoff metric. Now, I want to point out Alabama real quick. About 3 weeks ago, I had about 50 comments about how, this index doesn't mean anything because Alabama had a 50 on offensive points per rank. And I told you guys, just wait. They have played some of their hardest teams. And either 1, they won't make the playoffs, or 2, they will move up into that metric. And look, they're in it, and pretty easily. And 1 more good game under their belt, they would be in this tier. So now let's look at a quick scenario. Let's just say Alabama wins the SEC championship game. Let's say Washington wins the championship game, Pac-12. And then you have Florida State win, Michigan win both of their conferences. So that then would be a playoff of Washington, Alabama, Florida State, and Michigan. And then I'm guaranteeing that Michigan or Florida State would win it if it was today because they have the metric and Washington and Alabama don't. Now, Alabama could move in next week, and after next week, these stats become final. But again, that doesn't mean Washington can't make the playoffs because they can, and they can also make the championship game. They just won't win it because one of these teams will. Now, the only wrench in this that I see is Jordan Travis went out for Florida State. I do think if he was out all year, these numbers would be vastly different. So Florida State might be the only outlier in this. But you guys can save this video and come back later and either tell me I'm right or troll me if I'm wrong. But again, they're final after next week. And off of that, history has told us that these will happen.